Hi, good morning. 194 over the Playhouse in the morning. More music all day. 0 at ABK, the 194 Morning Playhouse. 6:23 in the morning as we launch into a round of Am I the Jerk? This is what a member of the Playhouse family is like, oh no. Was it me? Am I the problem? And could I be the jerk? Jerk, 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 jerk. And today, fearing just that is Playhouse family member Thomas. Thomas, why might you be the jerk?
My neighbor still has their Christmas lights up, right? And it just driving me crazy. And I confronted them about it. They said that they just haven't had the time. They've been just too busy. But I was really getting tired of looking at it. I just couldn't stand it anymore. And, when they're like, I don't have the time to do it, I'm like, well, all right, I'm annoyed. I have the time. So yesterday, I just kind of packed everything up. I went over there, I packed it all up into a box, and I left it on their front doorstep.
Well, and just for more context, just the extent you went to, because, you sent us a list when we were talking on Facebook Messenger, and they had an inflatable Grinch and a Santa, and you packed up all these yard decorations and took the lights off the house. Yeah.
My wife thinks I'm a little crazy for doing that. She said I'm passive aggressive, and I was like, no, I'm just aggressive, I just didn't want to look at that anymore, and I just took it down.
All right, we'll talk about it, see if people think you're a jerk or if you're just very helpful, okay?
Okay.
All right, jerk or not a jerk, ABK.
You're a jerk. You cannot go into someone else's yard because you don't like something and clean it up for them. You might think, oh, you're doing something nice. No, that's not your call. That's not your yard.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a little far. It was already kind of awkward to just flat out mention that you don't like that stuff is up. That's questionable. But to go over there, which can you imagine how confused you were when you came home from running your errands or whatever? You're out with the family, you guys are out having a lunch, or out at Costco or whatever, and you get home and there's just a pile of your stuff at your you'd feel so confused. And just are you going to take ownership over that?
Oh, do you? They have to know it's him.
Probably, if he's the one guy that said something, and yeah, it was a jerk move. I almost would say that the only nice neighborly way out of that was to be listen, I saw this. It was probably a little far. I apologize. I was trying to help you out, but maybe I was being a little rude.
In my mind, I thought it was a good idea, but now thinking about it, I realize I should not have come onto your yard and touched your property.
It's too much. Text Club seems to immediately think so too.
Yeah, you're a jerk. Someone said, I'm pretty sure even though it was well-intended, that has to be some sort of vandalism.
You're messing around with somebody's stuff, sure.
Can you get in legal trouble?
I don't know what person in their right mind would come after you for that.
I would. If you're that jerk of a neighbor, you're complaining about my stuff, then you're coming onto my yard.
Box it up.
What do you think he does in fall if a leaf gets on his yard or something?
So you're thinking this neighborly relationship is toast now?
I don't think there ever was a relationship.
Probably no. Jerk, not a jerk. Hello?
I would not be happy. No, I would not. No. Mind your business. Leave my lights alone.
Is there anyone that wants to defend that? So he was a little tired of all their inflatables, Grinches, and all that sitting out too, and he's like, I'm going to go box that up for him. Jerk, move, or you think maybe there's a way to defend that? 237, it's for the Playhouse. Harry Styles, Late Night Talking, 194.
Things late night talking.
Playhouse, 194, 6:30 in the morning in the middle of Am I the Jerk?
You're a jerk. You're a jerk. You're a jerk. You're a jerk.
But I'm not sure there's going to be a lot of question when it comes to this one. Quick recap of why Thomas may be the jerk. In fact, his wife is already telling him he is.
My neighbor still has their Christmas lights up, right? And it just driving me crazy. And I confronted them about it. They said that they just haven't had the time. They've been just too busy. But I was really getting tired of looking at it. I just couldn't stand it anymore. And, when they're like, I don't have the time to do it, I'm like, well, all right, I'm annoyed. I have the time. So yesterday, I just kind of packed everything up. I went over there, I packed it all up into a box, and I left it on their front doorstep.
Well, and just for more context, just the extent you went to, because, you sent us a list when we were talking on Facebook Messenger, and they had an inflatable Grinch and a Santa, and You packed up like all these yard decorations and took the lights off the house.
Yeah, my wife thinks I'm a little crazy for doing that. She said I'm passive aggressive, and I was like, no, I'm just aggressive.
On one hand, I guess if you were meaning to do it, it's kind of nice. But I think for the most part, I'd be so confused. Like, why were you? Because he was in the yard. He obviously was like on a ladder against the house. Like, can you imagine if you came home while it was happening?
No.
Or you were in your house and you're watching TV and you like look out the window and you're like, what is Thomas from across the street doing?
You know how sometimes you get like a glimpse of something out of the corner of your eye? Could you imagine watching TV and getting that and you're like, whoa, I thought I saw someone on a ladder outside my window. Whoa, I did. What is he doing over there?
I'd be terrified. I'd be terrified. Text Club, really very little defense for him. I guess a little, but not really.
Someone said, I think it's kind of funny. If I were the neighbor, I'd be happy as long as he didn't break anything because taking that stuff down is the worst. And he did it for them. I don't know if that makes him a jerk. Someone else say the only way he wouldn't be a jerk is if the neighbor had said they wanted it down, but they didn't have the time or something. Someone said, my husband would love a neighbor who's so helpful. And someone else said, jerk, not only did you go into their yard without permission, you also touched their items, packed them up. That's not your job. And someone else said, you're a jerk. You're getting way too worked up about Christmas decorations.
Jerk, not a jerk.
No way. That guy's a rock star. Are you kidding? Most neighbors would just moan and complain and harass the guy. But when his neighbor said, I'm just too busy, he thought, no problem. I'll do it myself.
I guess so. Jerk, not a jerk.
Oh my gosh, that's a total jerk move. It's like a passive aggressive. And I can just see him taking on the lights like, motherfucker.
I didn't quite understand it, but yeah, I guess it's awkward. It is awkward.
I can understand maybe if you said, hey, do you want me to take these down for you guys? I know it's February. Kind of late for the decorations to be up. You could offer it, and if they said yes, then you can do it. But you can't just do it without asking. You can't go into someone's yard.
No, you shouldn't have been like leaning up against their house on a ladder. You shouldn't have been taking all that the Grinch stuff down. Like, it's just too much.
What if you would have been up on that ladder and you hurt yourself?
What can you imagine? Can you imagine? And then like having to try to explain that to the homeowner's insurance. Well, there's this guy taking down the Christmas decorations. Oh, you like hired like a Christmas decor or something? No, it was just my neighbor. He said something about my decorations, and I said I've been busy. And then I came home, and all of a sudden he was laying there with a broken leg.
He was hanging from our roof.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't. You cannot go into someone's yard like that without their permission.
No, overall, Thomas, I mean, if you're wondering what the general consensus was, most people are saying it was a jerk move. I don't know where you go from here, though. Like, do you acknowledge this?
I wouldn't. I feel like it's too awkward. What are you going to say? I'm sorry?
Hey, you notice how your Christmas lights are down? Sorry about that.
So now you're owning up to it?
I guess so. I mean, they probably weren't still putting them on and celebrating. It's February 5th. I think they probably were just on the house in the yard.
Still, what if he didn't pack it the way you wanted it packed? You have different containers. It's still so strange.
Still left you a project, probably.
For the neighbors, yeah.
Bunch of some totes. Bunch of some nice totes. Enjoy.
Shouldn't have done it. It's not your job. It's not your house.
We are getting some people, Thomas, that wish that you lived by them.
Yeah, people do think that you are a nice neighbor and they would like to have you, but I still think you need to ask before you do something like that.
Here's what we do. We get you a couple addresses.
You want to move?
Yeah, well, no, we get him a couple addresses and he can go take down some more decorations.
Is he starting a business?
No, I think he's doing it for free now. We're out of textual healing here in a second.
The Y94 Morning Playhouse.